right now, Washington is 2-0 in the division. They've swept the Giants, and they have a 7-3 record. Right now, the Philadelphia Eagles have already had their bye, so some of this is going to be a little more complicated because of the byes. The Eagles are 7-2. They are also 2-0 in the division. They beat the Giants and the Cowboys, I believe. First of two between Washington and the Eagles over the next 5, right? So it's Eagles, Cowboys, Titans, Saints, Eagles. Yeah. 2 of the next 5 are against the Eagles. Now that's spread out over 6 weeks because the bye's in the middle there. Washington is coming off a loss. It was close. They lost by a point, but W's and L's are all that matter. Half game behind, playing in Philadelphia. How important is this game, Brian Mitchell?
Very important. I mean, if they win this game, they're in a position now where they're 3-0 in the division. They're back in first place
either
in
side.
The division. Okay, and then you see the Eagles again. You're going to see, then you don't see the Cowboys until much later. It gives them like an advantage, so it's very important. I mean, this game here, and I'm sure everyone that's to talk to a coach, the next game is the most important.
Sure.
This is the most important game they've seen this year.
Yeah, what was funny is I don't remember where I was doing a hit, but somebody asked me, what's the most important game for the Commanders of the next 4? And I was like, it's that Eagles game. And it's not that close because the Cowboys are a mess. And while you never want to count out a division game, the Cowboys seem to be falling apart. Dak's now done for the season. They're 3-6. And Jerry's talking about the location of the moon. Like, things are a mess in Dallas. They've already played. Washington's already played and beat New York twice. Yes. So whatever New York does or does not become over the last second half of the season doesn't really matter. They're not going to see them in the playoffs. And whether it's Tommy DeVito, Danny DeVito, Daniel Jones, Tommy Lee Jones, whoever lines up a quarterback for them, like it doesn't matter to the Burgundy and Gold at this point.
True.
What Philly does matters tremendously. And if you consider, because now the bye weeks, eventually this will all even out. But if Philly wins and gets to 8-2, and then Washington's at 7-4, that is then a game and a half gap, a direct, a head-to-head loss, and Philly's at 3-0 in the division. Washington's 2-1 with a head-to-head loss.
Yeah,
just from let's figure out how this all shakes out playoff picture situation, that'd be pretty significant because just with the loss to the Steelers, the Commanders fell from the 2 seed in the NFC all the way down to the 6. And you don't want to get ahead of anything, but if you get to 7-4, the Vikings are 7-2, the Packers are 6-3. Like a lot could there could be a lot of moving parts. You want to win every game. This one is vital. Not to mention, I'm curious if you buy into this at all. I don't think Dan Quinn and this bunch of dudes want to lose 2 in a row.
True. I don't think either of them want to lose it. But, the thing of it is, I don't even care about playoffs and all that stuff. I care about the fact of your record being better and you beating the teams in your division. I've always had the mindset that if you can beat everybody in your division, you win your division, you're in the playoffs. So it comes naturally. All the seeds and all that stuff right now, I can care less about that. But beating the Eagles, it puts you ahead of everybody in your division. So that every division game has a little bit more weight to it.
100%.
And if they go up there and they beat them, you're basically telling people, look, we're here. And I think the ultimate thing is we started this season just hoping that they could show us that Jaden was the guy. We know that now. And now we know that they're good enough to go out there and you could win. You beat the Eagles. Also, you shut up some of the people saying they haven't beaten anybody. You beat who the hell is on your schedule. But if you beat them, then now you can shut up some of those other people, which is going to be people still talking, especially them damn dumbass Bears fans. They're going to talk just to talk.
Good luck, Bears fans. You just fired your OC. And the team's a mess.
Get a life.
I think it's undeniable this one is vitally important. That doesn't mean if it goes the wrong way, you've got 10 days before you play the Cowboys, and you play them at home, and you can right the ship. But Landfill, you asked the question. It's your question on the show sheet. How important is this Eagles game to you?
Mostly because it's a division game. I want to see them do well. It's also because it's a primetime game. this is theoretically there's going to be a lot of people watching out there. I'd like for the team to not go out there and embarrass themselves.
I mean, that's fair. They've been good in primetime so far this season. That Bengals game was super impressive. The Bears game wasn't necessarily primetime, but it was a national audience. I also think there is an incredibly good chance. I'm looking at week 16 and 17 definitely as heavy flex candidates. If you look at week 16 in the NFL, the Monday night game for week 16, and so the window for when ESPN is able to request games to be flexed opens week 16. Right now, that is Packers Saints. I can't imagine that's the game they want when they know you've got Washington versus Philly on that Sunday. I think if you look at the Sunday night game is Bucks Cowboys, like both of those national broadcasts, I would expect to get changed. So Eagles Commanders would be a major candidate for either one of those. You look elsewhere on that week 16 schedule. The Ravens are playing the Steelers, but that's Saturday afternoon at 4:30. That's going to stay there. Really, the Sunday 1 o'clocks are what could get moved around a bit. And the Eagles Commanders is by far the best game on the calendar. I also think week 17, when Atlanta comes to town, that's a straight up TBD right now anyway. Lions-Niners is the Monday nighter. They're not going to change that. Dolphins-Browns, Sunday night game. Mm-hmm. You think that's staying there?
Nah.
No way.
No. Nah.
And you've already got Cowboys-Eagles slated for Sunday at 4:30. Now, you are going to have Saturday games. So some of these are going to – and there's less inventory that week because that's the Christmas Day games already. But Washington, Atlanta, I think will be a highly coveted game. You do have Packers-Vikings is that week currently scheduled for Sunday at 1 o'clock. I don't think that stays Sunday at 1 o'clock. So there's going to be a lot of moving parts. But if you want to recalibrate the primetime discussion with some of this, win Thursday night. Like, let people not think you aren't ready for prime time. Simple question. How important is this Eagles game? Let's go to Deacon in D.C.
What up, Deke?
Hey, guys, what's going on? First of all, we're not an afterthought anymore, period. I'm from the school of any given Sunday. That's number one. This is a critical game, but every game is critical. Every game is pivotal from this point on. This is week 10, week 11. So every game, depending on your bye, every game is pivotal. It's pivotal. Again, the Washington Commanders was a byword for 30 years. Now they're winning. Now folks want to. Now what if this? No, and we're not asking you for nothing. We taking everything we want from the top down and from the bottom to the top. That's all I got.
There you have it. Strong call. Every game is important, to say the least.
Yeah.
Alton is in Richmond. Alt, how big is Thursday night?
It's real big because they took one from us on Sunday. But like I said, I'm not worrying about that because I'm a diehard Commanders fan. But I just want to, say I appreciate all the work you and BMitch do, man. Y'all do good. But Commanders gonna get the Eagles because everybody keeps saying, well, they really ain't beat nobody. Well, really, nationality, Pittsburgh had to beat us by 1 point. So I feel that all the jumping and dancing around that they was doing on Sunday, they was making themselves look like a bunch of clowns because if you came in there with the mentality to beat the Commanders, why you only beat them by 1 point?
All right, brother.
Are you saying the NFL took that?
Yeah, I'm saying because that was the first down, man.
Sure looked like one to me.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you all. Go ahead. Or maybe they cut you off. Phone lines are open, 800-636-1067. How important is Thursday's game against Philly?
Very important.
It's easy to say. You only play 17. They're all the same.
I know everybody like to say just the Cowboys is just it, but I'm going to tell you, ever since way back in the day, playing against the Eagles have been always a tough-ass game, and it meant a lot when you had to play against them, and I think it's still that way.